In the vast African continent, two neighboring kingdoms existed side by side, each as different as night and day. The kingdom of Guru, ruled by King Obba, was a realm of unimaginable wealth. Guru's streets glittered with gold, and his people never knew hunger or hardship. Ornate palaces with golden roofs sparkled under the sun, and even the simplest of homes boasted wealth. The air in Guru was filled with the sound of laughter, music, and the bustling activity of prosperous citizens. King Obba, a man of formidable presence, was known for his lavish lifestyle and his ruthless approach to maintaining his wealth. His subjects feared him, for under his rule they wanted for nothing. However, his heart was as hard as the gold that adorned his kingdom. His focus was solely on preserving his wealth, and he had little sympathy for those less fortunate. In complete opposite lay the neighboring kingdom of Leah, ruled by King Nuru. Leah was a land of barren fields and dry riverbeds. The once fertile lands have been ravished by years of droughts, and famine was a constant companion. The people of Leah, their faces, gaunt, and eyes hollow, struggled to survive each day. The air was thick with despair and the cries of hungry children. King Nuru, though compassionate and wise, was weighed down by the relentless challenges his kingdom faced. He walked among his people, sharing in their suffering and doing all he could to provide for them. But the resources of Leah were stretched thin, and every day was a battle for survival. One particular ash season, when the drought seemed never ending and the people's cries grew louder, King Nuru found himself at a crossroad. The kingdom's food storage were empty, and his people were on the brink of starvation. Desperation wore away at his heart as he considered the unthinkable. Swallowing his pride, King Nuru decided to visit King Obba to beg for food and aid. He knew the journey to Guru would be difficult, but the lives of his people depended on it. Early one morning, as the first light of dawn touches the horizon, King Nuru set out on his journey, accompanied by a small group of loyal servants and advisors. The journey was arduous. The path to Guru, winding through dry, dusty plain and treacherous terrain. King Nuru's mind was shaken and filled with thoughts as they traveled. He hoped that King Obba, despite his reputation for being unyielding, might show compassion in this time of dire need. After several days of travel, King Nuru and his entourage finally arrived at the gate of Guru. The sight of the golden city was both encouraging and disheartening at the same time. The stark contrast between the two kingdoms was painfully evident, and King Nuru felt a pang of apprehension as they approached the palace. As they entered the grand palace of Guru, King Nuru was struck by his opulence. Gold and jewels adorned every surface, and the air was filled with the scent of exotic flower and rich perfumes. Servants hurried about tending to the needs of the court, while nobles sat in luxury. King Nuru was led into the throne room, where King Obba sat upon a magnificent golden throne, encrusted with precious stone. His regal presence was undeniable, and his piercing gaze seemed to assess Nuru's every move. With a deep breath, King Nuru stepped forward and bowed low. "Your Majesty," he began, his voice steady but filled with urgency. "I am King Nuru of Leah. My people are suffering from severe famine. I humbly request your aid in providing food and resources to save my kingdom." King Obba leaned back on his throne, a smirk playing on his lip. "Why should I share my wealth with you?" he sneered. "Your kingdom misfortune is not my concern. Guru has thrived because of my leadership and the hard work of my people. If Leah suffered, it is due to their own failures." Nuru's heart sank at Obba's word, but he pressed on, determined to save his people. "Please, Your Majesty," he implored, "I beg you to reconsider. The lives of many depend on your generosity. Surely, as a fellow king, you understand the burden of responsibilities of your subjects." King Obba's expression hardened. "Enough!" he barked. "You have no right to beg from me. Leave my palace at once before I have you thrown out." Humiliated and heartbroken, King Nuru was escorted out of the palace. The journey back to Leah was a sad one. His servants, who had held onto hope for their king's success, now walked with heads bowed low, their hearts heavy with despair. As they traveled back through the barren lands, King Nuru's thoughts were consumed by the suffering of his people and the cruel rejection he had faced. The sun beat down mercilessly, and their water supply was running dangerously low. One afternoon, as they tugged along a dusty road, they encountered an old woman sitting by the roadside. Her clothes were tattered and her face were lined with age and hardship. She reached out a trembling hand and spoke in a frail voice. "Please, kind sir, may I have some water?" King Nuru, despite his own dire situation, felt a surge of compassion for the old woman. He reached into his bag and pulled out the last of their water, offering it to her with a gentle smile. "Here, take this. It's not much, but it's all I have," he said, his voice filled with kindness. The old woman drank gratefully, her eyes shining with gratitude. As she finished the water, she straightened up and her appearance began to change. Before Nuru's astonished eye, the frail old woman transformed into a powerful witch, her eyes glittering with ancient magic. "You have shown kindness when you had little to give," she said, smiling. Her voice now strong and resonant. "I shall grant you 2 wishes. Choose wisely." Amazed and humble, Nuru thought carefully. "First, I wish for my kingdom to be wealthy and prosperous," he said. "Second, I wish for King Obba's wealth to be taken away, so he too can know what it means to suffer." The witch nodded. "Your first wish is granted. Your kingdom will flourish from this moment on. But as for your second wish, King Obba cannot be made poor. But know this, King Obba's wealth is protected by a powerful secret. The day that secret is revealed, he will become poorer than a beggar." With a wave of her hand, the witch disappeared, and immediately the land of Leah began to transform. River flowed again, crops grew abundantly. King Nuru's people rejoiced and he was celebrated as a hero. As the wish magic took effect, the transformation of Leah was nothing short of miraculous. The dry, cracked earth softened and turned fertile. Streams of crystal clear water began to flow through the previously dry riverbeds, bringing life back to the land. The people of Leah, who had been weakened by hunger and despair, watched as their kingdom blossomed before their eyes. Words of the miracle spread quickly through Leah. People emerged from their homes, their expression shifting from disbelief to joy as they witnessed the rebirth of their kingdom. Fields that had laid barren for years were now fresh with crops. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Birds returned to the trees, singing songs of renewal and hope. King Nuru stood at the center of the village square, surrounded by his people. Their faces, once gaunt and hollow, now shone with happiness and gratitude. Mothers wept tears of joy as they fed their children fresh bread and fruits. Farmers knelt in the rich soil, giving thanks for the bountiful harvest. One of Nuru's advisors, a wise and elderly man named Kofi, approached him with a broad smile. "Your Majesty, the gods have blessed us. Leah is prosperous once more." Nuru nodded, his heart swelling with pride and relief. "Yes, Koma, but we must not forget the lesson we have learned during our hardship. We must ensure that we use our wealth wisely and care for our people with compassion." As the days turned into weeks, Leah continued to thrive. The kingdom became a hub of activities with trade, routes, bustlings, and markets filled with goods. The wealth of Leah attracted merchants and traders from distant lands, eager to partake in the newfound prosperity. Nuru's reputation as a wise and beloved ruler spread far and wide. However, despite the joy and many successful people surrounding him, King Nuru could not shake the lingering bitterness in his heart. The memory of King Obba's cruel rejection haunted him, and he found himself dwelling on the humiliation he had suffered. Driven by a desire for justice and a sense of unfinished business, King Nuru became obsessed with uncovering the secrets behind King Obba's wealth. He spent countless hours in his study, poring over ancient texts and consulting with wise men and seers from across the land. One evening, as King Nuru sat by scrolls and manuscripts, Koma entered the study, his expression filled with concern. "Your Majesty, the kingdom flourishes and your people are happy. Why do you spend so much time seeking the secret of King Obba's wealth? Isn't our own prosperity enough?" King Nuru looked up, his eyes shadowed with determination. "Koma, you have seen the humiliation I endured at Obba's palace. His refusal to help us in our time of need haunts me. It's not just about prosperity, but about justice. I must know his secrets so that he cannot wield his wealth as a weapon of cruelty." Koma sighed, recognizing the depth of Nuru's resolve. "If you insist on this path, then you must seek help from those who might have knowledge of such secrets. Perhaps there is someone among our people who can undertake this quest." The next morning, King Nuru called a grand assembly in the village square. People from all corners of Leah gathered, curious about the urgent call from their king. Nuru stood before them, his voice carrying across the crowd. "My people," he began, "Leah had been blessed with newfound prosperity, but there is a matter that still troubles me. King Obba's wealth is protected by his secrets, and until that secret is revealed, he will continue to wield his power without compassion. I call upon anyone who is willing to embark on a journey to uncover these secrets. If a man succeed, he shall have my daughter's hand in marriage. If a woman succeed, she shall marry my son. Together, we can ensure that justice prevail. The crowd murmured in excitement and anticipation. Among them stood a small slender woman, a short dwarf, known as Toothpick. She had earned a nickname due to her small size and had been mocked all her life for her appearance, and she yearned to be accepted. However, she possessed a sharp mind and an indomitable spirit. Toothpick stepped forward, her eyes gleaming with determination. "Your Majesty," she said boldly, "I will undertake this quest. I may be small, but I have a neat mind and a brave heart. I will uncover the secret of King Obba's words." The crowd fell silent. A woman also stepped forward and looked at Toothpick. "What do you mean, you Toothpick? Of all people, you short thing, you dwarf. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Can you do anything? You want to step forward to go on that kind of quest?" King Nuru turned and looked at the woman and told her, "Shut up! You have no right to put anybody down." He turned and looked at Toothpick, admiration and surprise shining in his eyes. "Very well, Toothpick. I believe in your strength and determination. May the gods guide and protect you on your journey." Toothpick prepared for her journey with meticulous care. She packed provisions, gathered information, and sought advice from the wisest elders in Leah. She knew that her quest would be fraught with danger, but she was undeterred. She was determined to prove everybody in her village wrong, that though she might be small, she had a heart that can move a mountain. The thought of also gaining the respect of her fellow villagers and avenging her king's humiliation fueled her resolve. Early the next morning, Toothpick set out on her journey, the sun rising behind her and casting long shadow on the path ahead. As she traveled, Toothpick encountered different and various challenges: treacherous terrain, wild animals, and harsh weather, but her determination never wavered. She pressed on, her mind focused on uncovering King Obba's secrets. One evening, as she made camp by a small stream, an old man approached her. His clothes were ragged and he leaned heavily on a gaunt staff. "Greetings, traveler," he begins. "May I share your fire and rest for the night?" Toothpick, always kind-hearted, welcomed him with a smile. "Of course, sit down and warm yourself. Do you come from far?" The man nodded. "I've traveled many lands and seen many things. What brings you on a lonely road?" Toothpick hesitated for a moment before deciding to share her story. "I am on a quest to uncover the secret of King Obba's wealth. My king Nuru was humiliated by him some years ago, and I seek justice." The old man's eyes twinkled with curiosity. "A noble quest indeed. I may have some knowledge that could aid you. It is said that King Obba's wealth comes from a hidden source, a mystical well that grants endless riches. But the well is guarded by powerful magic, and only those pure of heart can approach it." Toothpick listened intently, her heart racing with hope. "Where can I find this well?" she asked. The old man pointed to the north. "Travel to the mountain beyond the great forest. There, in the hidden valley, you will find the well of infinite riches. But be warned, many have tried to reach it and fail. You must be prepared for the trials that await you." Toothpick thanked the old man and offered him food and water. As dawn broke, She continued her journey with renewed determination, her path now clear. Toothpick, journey to the mountain was long and stressful. The great forest was dense and teeming with life, both benign and dangerous. She navigated through thick underbush, crossed swift river, and climbed steep hills along the way. She encountered various creatures, some of whom offered help, while others posed threats. One day, as she neared the edge of the forest, she came upon a majestic stag with antennas that gleamed like silver. The stag spoke in a deep, resonant voice. "You seek the well of infinite riches, do you not?" Toothpick, though startled, nodded. "Yes, I do. Can you help me?" The stag lowered his head. "The well is not far, but to reach it, you must pass 3 trials. Only those who possess wisdom, courage, and purity of heart can succeed." Toothpick straightened her shoulder. "I'm ready for any kind of trial. Tell me what to do." The stag led her to a clearing where 3 paths diverged. Each path represents a trial. Choose wisely, for each test is different. Toothpick chose the middle path first, which led her to a deep shams. A narrow, rickety bridge spanned the gap. She took a deep breath and began to cross, the bridge swaying precariously beneath her. Halfway across, a fierce wind picked up, threatening to blow her off. Summoning all her courage, she pressed on, focusing on each step until she finally reached the other side. The second path led her to a dense thicket of thorns. The only way through was to navigate carefully, avoiding the sharp thorns that could tear her flesh. She moved slowly, using her small size to her advantage, slipping through the narrow gaps and emerging on the other side unscattered. The third path led her to a crystal-clear lake. In the center of the lake, on a small island, stood a tree with golden leaves. The water was inviting, but she sensed that it hid hidden danger. Remembering the old man's word about purity of heart, she closed her eyes and whispered a prayer. While she opened her eyes, a narrow stone path appeared leading directly to the island. She crossed it with ease, her heart light and her spirit unwavering. Having passed the 3 trials, Toothpick arrived at the hidden valley, where the well of infinite riches stood. The well was a simple stone structure, unadorned, yet excluding an aura of immense power. She approached it cautiously, her heart pounding with anticipation. As she peered into the well, she saw not water, but a face of light and shadow. A voice emanated from the face, ancient and wise. "Who dares to seek the secrets of the well of infinite riches?" Toothpick bowed respectfully. "I am Toothpick, a humble villager from Leah. I seek the secrets to bring justice to my king and my people." The voice echoed in return through the valley. "The secret of King Obba's word lies in his unwavering belief in his own greatness and the fear and suffering he instills in others. His wishes are sustained by the harshness and misery of those around him. Reveal this truth and his wealth will crumble." Toothpick eye widened with understanding. "Thank you, wise one. I will carry this truth back to my king." The well's light intensified, and in a flash, Toothpick found herself back at the edge of the great forest. The stag reappeared, nodding approvingly. "You have succeeded where many have failed. Go, and may your journey bring justice." Toothpick made her way back to Leah, her heart filled with hope and determination. The journey home seemed shorter, a step lighter with the knowledge she carried. Upon her return, she was greeted with cheers and jubilations. The villagers had missed her and were eager to hear of her success. King Nuru welcomed her into his palace, his eyes shining with gratitude. "Toothpick, you have returned. Did you uncover the secret of King Obba's words?" Toothpick nodded and recanted her journey, the trials she faced, and the revelation from the way. King Obba's words is built on fear and suffering. His wishes come from the misery of those around him. If we reveal this truth and make his people believe it, his power will diminish. Nuru, listening intently, his resolve hardening. We must spread this truth far and wide. The people of Guru must know the source of their king's words. Only then can we bring justice to our land. King Nuru and Toothpick devised a plan to reveal the truth to the people of Guru. They sent servants to spread the message in secret, speaking to merchants, travelers, and local villagers about the true source of King Obba's wealth. The news spread like wildfire, carried by whispers and hushed conversations in marketplaces and inns. The people of Guru, who had been fearful of their king, begin to see him in a new light. They questioned the foundation of his wishes and the suffering it brought to others. To further their plan, King Nuru and Toothpick decided to visit Guru themselves. They would speak directly to the people, hoping to ignite a spark of rebellion against King Obba's oppressive rule. Dressed as commoners, to avoid detention, they journeyed back to Guru, their hearts set on justice. As they entered the Golden City, they noticed a change in the air. The once bustling streets were now filled with an undercurrent of unease. The people, though still surrounded by wealth and opulence, seemed weary and discontented. Nuru and Toothpick made their way to the central marketplace, where they began to share their message. "People of Guru," Nuru called out, his voice strong and unwavering, "we bring you the truth about your king's wealth. It is not his greatness that sustains it, but the misery and fear of those he subjugates. King Obba's wishes are built on the suffering of others. Is this the kind of ruler you wish to follow?" Toothpick stepped forward, her small stature belaying her powerful words. "I am Toothpick, and I have seen the well of infinite wishes. The secret to King Obba's wealth lies in the fear he instills in all of you. Stand together and refuse to be a stool of oppression. Demand justice and freedom." The crowd listened in silence. The truth of Nuru and Toothpick words resonating deeply. Murmurs of agreement begin to ripple through the marketplace. The people who had long felt powerless under Obba's rule now see a glimmer of hope. As the truth spread, discontent turned to rebellion. The people of Guru, emboldened by Nuru and Toothpick's message, began to rise against King Obba. They refused to pay high taxes anymore. The golden streets that once symbolized Obba's power now became the stage for a growing revolution. King Obba, realizing that his control was slipping, tried to suppress the uprising with force. He deployed his guards to stop the protests and silence the disturbers. But the people of Guru, united in their desire for justice, stood firm. The more Obba tried to tighten his grip, the more his people slipped away. Nuru and Toothpick continue to rally the people, moving from village to village, spreading their message of truth and justice. They urged the people to stand together and resist Obba's rulership. The revolution grew stronger, and soon, even some of Obba's own guard and advisors began to question their loyalty. One fateful night, a group of rebels managed to breach the palace wall. They stormed the golden throne room where King Obba sat, surrounded by his dwindling guards. Nuru and Toothpick stood at the forefront, their eyes blazing with determination. "Your reign of terror ends now, Obba," Nuru declared. "The people of Guru have seen through your lies. Your wealth, built on fear and oppression, will crumble." Obba, desperate and cornered, looked around at the faces of his subjects, once loyal but now filled with righteous fury. He realized that his time was over. King Obba asked in tears, "All this because I refused to feed you, King Nuru?" King Nuru adjusted his stance and replied, "If you had fed me, I would not have known your people were suffering. I would have gone on my merry way, and your secret would have been safe for years to come. Let this be a warning to everyone. Be kind no matter what kind of secret you hold." Guru underwent a profound transformation. The Golden City, once a symbol of greed and oppression, began to embrace values of justice and equality. The wealth of Guru was redistributed to benefit all its people, and the new leaders chosen by the people worked tirelessly to heal the wounds of the past king. King Nuru returned to Leah with Toothpick, where he was welcomed as a hero. Toothpick, now revered for her courage and wisdom, was celebrated by the villagers. True to his words, King Nuru offered his son's hands in marriage to the brave soul who had uncovered the secrets. But Toothpick, with her newfound confidence and respect, chose a different path. "Your Majesty," she said with a smile, "I am honored by your offer, but my journey had taught me that my true calling is to serve my people. I wish to help guide Leah into a future of prosperity and justice." Nuru nodded, respecting her decision. "You have shown great courage and wisdom. Toothpick, your place in Leah's future is assured." Under the guidance of Nuru and Toothpick, Leah continued to flourish. The lesson of compassion, kindness, and justice that Nuru had always believed in became the foundation of their society. The kingdom thrived not only in wealth but in happiness and well-being of its people.